Podsters, it's June, and who else is here for summer? I am so here for summer. As you know, my summer word is, some of you might know that my word for summer is barefoot. I am so looking forward to summer. And I'm coming in here with a PSA for you if you feel the same, because I know you want to enjoy your summer. And I know that summertime is when a lot of people, particularly those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, kind of kick up our heels and put things off and don't really start any major projects because we really want to be able to enjoy that time with friends and family. Again, I am here for that. What will not work for you, and what is my PSA for today, is that if you are in a job, if you are working for a company, if you are working for a boss, if you are running a business that does not feel good to you, you have got to take action. And I can't tell you how many times I talk to potential coaching clients in the spring or the beginning of the summer, and they say, oh, you know what? Let's circle back at the end of the summer. I want to do some exploration, or yeah, I really want to get focused. And then they go off into the ether and they never take action. I love summer. If there was a president of summer, it would be Nancy Medoff. And at the same time, if you are in a toxic work environment, if you are feeling like something is off, taking a break from thinking about it over the summer is a bad idea. I know that your instinct is to kick it down the road. Most people don't want to deal. We want to enjoy our summer. So here's what happens when you do that, when you take that little break. What happens is summer becomes fall, and it's back to school. And the fall, if you're working for another company, that's a very busy time. For a lot of people, that's budgets. For a lot of people, that's a lot of travel and trade shows. So first comes fall, then comes Thanksgiving, then the holidays, and then you wake up and it's 6 months later and you are still in this miserable job. So I want to tell you a little story about what happened to me when I decided to just wait and to just wait. So I was in a job where I was very, very unhappy. And I was working for a complete and utter lunatic. And if you look up bad boss in the dictionary, believe her picture's there, maybe in Wikipedia. I'm only kidding. But it was a terrible, terrible environment. It was awful. And I remember this was right about the time I was getting married. And I remember I came home from work one day. Or whatever. I was finished working for one day, and I went onto my bed. I sat on my bed and I was sobbing. I simply could not do it another day. And I remember talking to Danny, and it was okay. I could leave. I was making very good money. I was in a on paper great job. And I remember we had the conversation, and he's like, well, maybe you wait till after the wedding, right? We had a really expensive wedding to pay for. And so I waited. After sobbing on the bed that day, I waited. And I remember I got my 360 evaluation a few weeks later. And I remember reading the comments, and the comments were fine from my team. So for those of you who might not know, the 360 evaluation is when a survey goes out to your team members and they talk about what you do well as a leader. It's like a leadership evaluation survey, what you do well and where you can improve. It's great feedback, really good feedback, because your perception could be one thing and then your team's is another. And that's not good or bad. It's a data point for you as a leader to be able to say, okay, I think I'm great at this. My team says not so much. Where's the disconnect and what do I need to fix? I think it's one of the most powerful tools out there. Anyway, I got the 360 back and the comments were fine. Here's what she's good at. I'd like to see her do a little more of this. Perfectly reasonable, perfectly acceptable evaluation. Acceptable to anyone except me. I was used to evaluations in my old roles from my team where they would just make great comments. I was far from perfect. And at the same time, they really saw me as a human. They saw how hard I was working for them. They knew how much I cared about their success. They were grateful for the tools and tactics and time and development that I made it a priority to do with them. And none of those comments were in this particular review. So that was it for me. That was the straw that broke the camel's back because I had changed. I had changed in this role. And the best advice I've ever heard, I remember I brought in a guest speaker when I was teaching at BU, and one of the students asked him, what do you do when you're in an environment that's not good and you don't like it? And he thought about it and he said, make a change before it changes you. And I'm getting goosebumps just saying that. That was so powerful to me. And this was years later. I wish I had known it then, at the time when I was in the terrible environment, because I had changed. I had changed as a leader and I wasn't showing up how I know I can show up. Now, one could argue you're never going to show up as the best version of yourself every day. Of course not. And at the same time, when you go out to my team and the responses are vanilla, polite, it wasn't me. I was not being authentic and I was changing. So when I got that 360, I'm pretty sure it was that day. It may have been the next day. It was probably the next day because of course I wanted to sleep on it. I resigned. And I remember talking to one of the people that I was reporting to, one of the executive team, and he said, Nancy, I said, it's this feedback. It's the feedback from the team. This is showing me that I'm not the right fit for this. And he said, well, this is fine. This feedback is reasonable. And I said, it's fine for you. This is not fine for me. I'm used to my team loving coming to work. And I'm used to my team really, really knowing how much I care about them and how much I support them. And I don't see this in this 360. And this is it. No, that for me was the absolute tipping point. I said, no, this is not who I am. I'm not doing this another day. And I didn't. I resigned. As a matter of fact, at the time, they wanted me to stay a little longer. And I said, no, I'm not staying. I will give you 2 weeks. I think it might have even been 3 weeks. I will tie it up. I will do a turnover plan or a succession plan. But no, I cannot do this another day. I can't. By the way, at that time, the toxic boss was actually gone. So I probably could have stayed and tried to lead how I want to lead. But by then, I think the damage was done. So anyway, all this is to say to y'all, you have to make a change before it changes you. So here's the three lies that I told myself, or the three lies that I hear the most from people I'm working with, that is really, really keeping them stuck and holding them back around this time. By the way, this is usually May, June. Here's number one of the one. This is not in any order. Summer is not a good time to focus. I want to enjoy my summer and come back. I want to have a clear head. No, no, no. I would suggest that summer is the best time to focus. Summer, your head's a little more clear. You have a little more balance or blending, if you will. You're enjoying the rest of your life. You slow down a little bit at work, maybe, hopefully, and get to enjoy life. I would say, no, this is the time to really think about, okay, what am I grateful for? How do I want to live my life? Am I showing up the way I want to show up? No. And again, if you wait and kick it down the road, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it, Podsters. I have seen it 1,000 times. And I'm not saying to make big, bold moves. I'm going to give you 3 things you can do over the next few weeks to get yourself in the mindset to really, really make this change. So the number one lie is summer's not a good time. The number 2 piece of bullshit that I hear every summer's not a good time to network. No one's really in network mode. Absolutely not. No, summer is actually a better time to network. Here's why. Summer, people are more relaxed. They're more open. There are more outdoor activities. There's cold weather climate people and warm weather climate people. And I remember hearing this many, many years ago. Cold weather climate people in the winter, this is from back in, the dark ages. People would come out of their caves. They'd gather their nuts and berries or whatever they needed to gather their cave, not cage. That's interesting. And then they would go back into their cave. Not a lot of activity, not a lot of talking. It's cold. We need to go get our supplies. And then we go back in our homes. Summer, everybody's out. They're out and about. What do you do? Oh, what do you do? Where are you from? It is built in natural networking. You're meeting new people. No, I'm calling BS on that. And I'm not saying that you need to show up at a backyard party with a clipboard and your business cards. What I'm saying is if you go into summer thinking maybe I'm going to meet someone or talk to somebody that's going to be my next connector and that's going to connect me to a new opportunity or my next opportunity, I guarantee you will. I have met some of the strongest business connections I've made have been over the summer. People have their guard down. You're at a cocktail party or a barbecue or a pool party or the beach, and you're talking to someone, and it eventually comes around to what do you do for work? And they say, oh, I'm managing director here, or oh, I own this kind of company. Natural, easy, authentic way to connect with people. Summer is the best time to network, period. Maybe tied with the holidays, but we'll talk about that around the holidays. Okay. The third lie you're telling yourself is no one's really hiring in the summer. A, that's not true. Things do slow down in the summer, yes. And I would say when things slow down in the summer, that's the best time for you to get your act together for when people start to focus a little more. So, yeah, might slow down a little bit. People are on vacation. People are saying, yeah, let's deal with that when we look at budgets or whatever. And at the same time, now is when you can lay the groundwork. And here's what that groundwork looks like. So another three things. Here's three things that I want you to think about. This is if you're in a job or working for a company or your business is not what you want it to be. One, I want you to go out and click on the link that's in the comments or that's in the show notes and take the high five test if you haven't yet. So the high five test this is free. There's a free version and a paid version. I'm going to give you both links. The free version, it's a strengths test. This absolutely changed my life many, many years ago when I first took it. If you've worked with me, if you've attended any of my programs, you know that I base everything in your career around your top three strengths. And if you don't know what those are, or if you can't see those, or if you're not sure, you go out, you take this survey. The free version takes maybe 15 minutes, the longer one, probably about a half hour. And the difference is the longer one gives you a really robust report that's fantastic. If you're in the right mindset to do that kind of work. And by do that kind of work, I mean do that kind of work on yourself, with yourself, kind of that introspective soul searching. If you want to just get a quick hit, okay, what are my three strengths? You take this high five test, it will give you back your top five strengths. From those, you pick your top three. Which ones do you like really resonate with you the most? And that's going to be your guiding light for, okay, what do I think I might want to do? How do I want to spend my days? It's not what kind of job do I want to be in? It's not I want to go be VP sales. It's not I want to go be a program manager. It's not I want to go be a compliance officer. No. How do I want to be spending my days? And you base that on thinking about these five strengths. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, you are going to work those keywords into your LinkedIn profile. This is a tactical example. It will take you less than 15 minutes. I've done it, I've timed it, and I'm telling you it'll take you less than 15 minutes. So you think about what you want to do and how you want to be spending your days realistically, and you pull out some keywords so that in your LinkedIn profile, if somebody is searching for the right candidate and they have these keywords in that search, your name will come up. I am going to have an expert on next week who is going to tell us all how to amp up our LinkedIn profile. We're not going to go into a big dissertation about LinkedIn. Nope. And I asked her, I said, I want specifically talk about profile. I don't want to talk about algorithms. I don't want to talk about publishing content. No, this is about your profile. So next week's guest is going to tell us about how you can make a few tweaks to your profile and really, really stand out. This is if you own a business. This is if you're in business for someone else. This is if you're coming back into business. This is going to be an epic episode. Plus, her energy is off the charts. You're going to love this episode. Anyway, so you're not going to worry about your resume right now, because if you start worrying about your resume, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're probably going to procrastinate and kick it down the road. So nope, I'm just saying, go out and take this little strengths test. It's fun. It's fun. It'll take you 15 minutes. Take it. Then incorporate some of that into your resume. And the last thing I'm going to suggest you do, and if you want this tool, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to link this in the show notes too. I am feeling so positive about this summer for you podsters. I'm going to link this in the show notes. I am going to link, it's a vision worksheet. You may have seen it before. You may have heard me talk about it before. You're simply going to use this worksheet and you're going to draw out a little picture. Actually, you don't even need to use the worksheet. You should, because I think it's formatted in a way that'll hold you accountable. If you don't want to do that, just sketch out, what does the ideal work life look like for you? Literally stick figures. I did this 5 years later. All of it came to fruition, all of it. So little stick figures. How do you want to be spending your days? And then I have a spot underneath it where after you do the stick figures, don't start with the words. After you make your little vision stick figure portrait of how you want to be spending your time, some people have 2 or 3 things in the little square. One of my clients had about, she ran out of space. It was hilarious. And it is hilarious. Actually, I want to use hers as an example because she was all over it. She embraced this exercise and she had this awesome vision for herself. Anyway, after you're done with the stick figures, I want you to use some words and be very specific. So mine is for 5 years from now, I think, and this is by memory, I'm a highly sought after public speaker who travels the world to all my bucket list places with my wonderful husband and splits her time between Cape Cod and somewhere warm. So that's 5 years from now. And it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of neat. So obviously you're not going to take, that's my life vision. For this exercise, I want you to do your work vision, because obviously you're not going to say travel the world on your LinkedIn profile. Maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe go for it. So when you do the vision exercise, keep it focused on work, your work life, and then write out, what does it look like? I am spending my day leading a team of high performers. I'm spending my day pulling together different areas of the organization so that the company runs smoothly and we have space to innovate. Whatever it means to you, write it out, and then you can pull some of those words into your LinkedIn. In fact, maybe the week after next or next week, I'll do the 3 strengths exercise with you and you can really pull it in, because that's your power positioning statement. So that's the third thing you're going to do. Okay. So you're going to go out to the high five link. You are going to do the vision, and then you're going to pull some of that vision into your LinkedIn. And you are going to make a note for next week to make sure you listen to our podcast, because I'm telling you, she's going to have some great ideas. And Podsters, if you want to take the next 8 weeks to do these 3 things, I'm fine with that. That's fine. If you want to focus on 1 out of these 3 things, great. What I want to make sure you're doing is that you are making the change before it changes you. I am not suggesting that you go out and splatter your resumes all over Indeed. I'm recommending that instead of coasting this summer, and I'm the queen of coasting in the summer. It's my birthday. By the way, my birthday month's coming up in July. Instead of that you take 1 action, guys, 1 action this week to just start to think about what that life might look like. Because that's what I want for you. I want a life where you're thriving every day at work, because you deserve that. Speaking of thriving, I want to make sure you all are aware that on Thursdays, Brenda Johnston, subconscious mindset strategist, she has to change that description. I cannot get it out fast enough. And energy mentor, she and I go live every Thursday on Instagram, 11:45. It's called Thrive Live, 15 minutes. It's a quick touch base for us with our communities, for you to make sure that you have the tools you need to thrive, because we want everybody to thrive. So give yourself a little reminder on whatever device you use to check us out. It's super fun and it's interactive and we're having a blast. So Thursday, Thrive Live. In the show notes, you're going to have the high 5 test. You're going to have a link to the vision sheet. I want you to make a reminder next week on Tuesday to listen to this episode that's coming up. This woman is the authority on LinkedIn. I hired her to do my LinkedIn, and she's amazing. And I'm super pumped that she's going to be on, just released a book about LinkedIn. So anyway, she's going to be great. And start thinking about how you can make a change before it changes you, because Podsters, you deserve the best, because you are the best. With that, peace out. I love you. And I'll talk to you next week.